up, you guys? I am so sick, deathly ill to be exact, and I'm filming. So just a few things before I get into the video. This is my Leopard Gecko, Maleficent. Okay, second is this jacket. I'm digging it. It is like the comfiest, like most lightweight with lots of zippers jacket. But, oh, she's biting me. The problem with it is it makes me look like 10 weeks pregnant. No, not like 10 weeks, like 9 months pregnant. But it also covers up if I eat a lot of tacos, so that's good. Yeah, she is new. She wasn't tamed at all. So I pretty much just take her out every couple days, hold her, let her bite me, let her get used to human contact. And I'm trying to be patient with her. I actually haven't taken her out the first 3 weeks I had her because I wanted her to settle in. I wanted her to eat right, and she has been eating phenomenally, but she does need to get tame. So right now we're just chilling. So first things first is these little boogers do need a cage. You cannot have them loose running around your house because then how would they eat and how would they monitor their temperature and regulate their temperature? So they need a tank or a cage. Most of them are kept in cages. I personally recommend 20-gallon longs. I think this size is phenomenal because it's big enough to the point where they get to explore, but it's also not too big to the point where they'll struggle finding food or struggle regulating their heat. So personally, my favorite size for them is a 20-gallon long. You could do bigger, but I don't think it's necessary, and it honestly, to me, just runs a few more risks. And I already worry about my baby's a little too much, so we don't need more things to worry about. Second thing I want to cover is their temperature, their heat, their hot side, their cool side, lighting, stuff like that. First off, leopard geckos are very sensitive to light, so I always recommend a heat pad over a light. And if you are going to do some type of thing over their tank, I would say a ceramic bulb that doesn't put off any light and just puts off heat. What I personally do and what works for me is putting a heat pad under the tank and setting it at about 89 degrees. And then also at night, my room gets really cold, so I have a ceramic bulb on top of the tank, and I just set that and just like turn it on at night so that she has a little bit of extra warmth at night, but no light, because you do want them, since they are more nocturnal, to have pitch black at night. So it just works best for me personally, and I think it's really personal preference, but I totally recommend heating pads instead of heating or like putting lights. As far as the cool side, I just let my tank regulate because the tank is in a house, so it stays in the 70s. Also, you're gonna want a hide on the warm and cool side because you want them to be able to hide and feel safe when they're regulating their temperature. Since leopard geckos are sensitive to light, you are gonna save money because you don't have to put any lighting or any special things like that. But what you do have to get for them is a multivitamin. This is just something that I recommend because they don't get the essential things that a lot of reptiles would from a UVB light and lighting like that. So if you just give them a multivitamin, it just gives them the vitamins they're missing out on from not having light. As far as humidity goes, they don't need it to be too humid. What I personally do is just nothing to their enclosure, but then I give them a really humid hide. So I put their humid hide on their warm side for a couple reasons. But in their humid hide, I personally just have a mason jar with some moss and eco earth. And then since their humid hide is on the warm side, first it's gonna bump up the humidity because the water plus the heat is going to make it more humid. It's just science, and I learned it in 2nd grade. And then the second thing is leopard geckos love their humid hide usually, and you don't want them to have to go to the cool side and not have a warm enough temperature because they want to get in their humid hide. For leopard geckos, I don't recommend loose substrate, and the reason for this is because it can cause impaction. I just think that the minimum amount of risk factors you can put into keeping an animal, the better, because there are so many things that can go wrong when you have a life in your hands. So you just want to keep every single possibility that can go wrong to the bare minimum. So yeah, I put Repta carpet. I really like it. I'm thinking of switching to tile with my bearded dragons. I've been kind of pondering that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to. But yeah, Repticarpet works fine for me. You can do paper towels. I just really like the look of Repticarpet better. Leopard geckos do not eat vegetables. They just eat insects. So for their diet, I pretty much have her on dubia roaches every once in a while, crickets every once in a while, and then mealworms all the time. So I have a dish of just calcium in her tank, and a dish of just calcium and mealworms in her tank. And then I just 2 to 3 times a week, I'll put either crickets or dubia roaches in there, and she loves them. One thing that I just want to point out, because we are talking about keeping your leopard gecko happy, healthy, and safe, is do not put sharp things that your leopard gecko can scratch themselves on or tear their tail off of, or just anything, because animals are so unpredictable and so much can go wrong that, like I said, let's keep all the risk factors to a bare minimum. As far as vitamins go, I keep calcium in my bearded dragons. I keep calcium in my leopard gecko's tank at all times, because the one fascinating thing about leopard geckos is they can tell when they're calcium deficient, and they'll actually just go and lick the calcium. So like, heck yeah, let's not have metabolic bone disease, because that's what happens when you don't have enough vitamins and calcium in your gecko's diet. And then also, I only give them a multivitamin 3 times a week, just because I think that's a good amount to give. And yeah, it works really well for me. So I just sprinkle it on the fresh insects as well as calcium. Thank you so much for watching. I know there's so many leopard gecko care videos on YouTube, but I just thought this is how I take care of Maleficent, and it works very well for me, and we have not had any problems. So yeah, I appreciate you and I love you, and I will see you next video. Bye!